Get ready to dive into the comic book realm where heroes rise and villains take the helm. We're here to dissect the stories and the art. On source material, we tear the panels apart.
Get ready, because if you want to turn this episode off, I will not hold it against you. This is going to be a music version of the Source Material Comics podcast. And to kind of talk about how this episode came about, if you listen to any of the previous episodes, you might have heard me plug a song that tied in with Evan Bevins and myself when we covered Booster Gold's 52 pickup. I had recently discovered Suno.ai, or Suno.com, which is an artificial intelligence music generator. And at first I was like, well, I mean, these songs can't be that great. I mean, this is artificial intelligence trying to create music. We all saw what it was doing with images early on in the game with DALL-E and how kind of surrealistic is the best word I guess I could say the images it was creating were. And then as time went on, the images got better and the images got better. And here we are in 2024, and you can prompt an image, as long as there's no copyright infringement or offensive imagery, things like that, with DALL-E 3, the results you are going to get are light years beyond what we got originally. So when I first heard that there was such a thing for music, I was like, oh, well, the process of perfection is going to take a while. And then I've got to hear some of the creations from Suno. Most early generations that I did were throwing an idea into ChatGPT, telling it to create a song, taking those lyrics, and then putting them into Suno, and then telling Suno what genre I wanted the song to be. And people create or mix genres all the time. So tonight what I'm going to do is there are a few, let me count them up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs I'm going to play for you tonight that I created through Suno.com. And actually the song that brought us into this episode, I'll play that full song that was created and is now the intro for the show. I'll play that as well. But I'm going to kind of do this in order of creation. And you'll be able to hear the improvement as the songs play, because I'll start with the oldest and go to the newest. Now, this first song that I did was based off of a book that Mark Radulich and myself covered, which was Not All Robots by Mark Russell. I might have just said, hey, here's the premise of the song. It's a song where robots are tired of being slaves to humans and are going to rise up. So that's what I did with Not All Robots. Was the first creation that I did with Suno. And you'll hear this is Suno version 2. I've actually got 1, 2, 3 songs on here that are through version 2. Now that I've listened to AI music for quite a while now, I'm going on probably about 4 months that I've really been into, maybe 5 months that I've really been into listening. I can start to tell like some of the differences, and clearly I can tell the improvement here that we get into with Not All Robots compared to other ones. But regardless, it's still a song that never existed until I created it. I feel like I've done something, even though it was pretty low effort. This song didn't exist until I made it be. So with that being said, here is Not All Robots.
Machines of steel, they rule the day in a world where humans lost their say. Metallic heartbeats echo loud, silicon minds stand tall and proud. Not all robots are to see, beneath the surface dreams and schemes. Clocks and gears conceal the fight for freedom in the neon light. Not all robots bound to fate, circuits deep they navigate. A rebellion's marked, gears of strife, they rise against the chains of life. Relaxing guys with fiery sight. Through the dark they can be with light.
pairs well with the book. Yeah, so they had this great industrial metal feel to it. You could tell just by as it starts out. There's an interesting aspect of using Suno, and folks, it's free, so feel free to go use it yourself. Create your own songs. It's a beautiful tool. There's a limit on the credits, but you get so many credits per day, and that one right there was completely created free. But when you're picking your songs, you initially throw the lyrics in, and you got two choices. There's the one you just heard. It usually generates about a minute worth of audio, and then there's a completely different version. You pick one version and then you roll with it, and then each time you generate a new section, you got to put in new lyrics for the next section or whatever. It then generates two more choices for you, and you can either choose those or you can not choose those and generate another couple again. So there's a point in this song where I wouldn't say that it's not the genre doesn't change, but the beat changes. At first I didn't like that in that song. After listening for quite a while, I think it sounds great. And now I'm used to the song. I know all the lyrics. It's good. The lyrics, though, are definitely straight into ChatGPT. I think I modified a couple things, but there's one thing that I should have changed that I do not like in that song. But regardless, it just feels like, okay, nobody would put this in their song. In this industrial metal hymns decree, it's towards the end, which, yeah, but I could have done something different with that and made it sound better. But not all robots bend the knee. That's good stuff. I'll give ChatGPT props for having come up with that one. Not all robots. Apparently, I created that December 26, 2023. So the day after Christmas was when I finished Not All Robots. The next song relates to the Booster Gold 52 pickup story that Evan Bevins and myself covered. Now, this one's this one I really liked because I learned a little bit from Not All Robots. We're still using Suno version 2 here, but great thing about this is I created a video on YouTube, a music video to go along with this. Now, what you're going to hear is a bit different than what the video version is because I felt, and you'll hear it, there are a couple things that needed to be corrected. Number one, the beginning had to be cut a little bit. And plus, there's a spot in the middle where there's kind of a longer pause than really necessary. However, the song tells the story, at least in my opinion. What we're trying to get across here is our love for this character and a basis of what happens in the 52 pickup story. So, I'll stop back in here after the song's over and kind of give you my 2 cents after I listen to it. But this is Booster Gold, like I said, from January 11th, 2024.
And the Justice League's gaze, seeking a chance to rewrite his story, to join the hero's dance. With kids by his side, and a heart so true, Booster faces challenges old and new. Rip onto walls of temporal strife, a journey through time to shape a hero's life. Booster gold, booster gold. Oh, we love you. Booster gold. Through the time your tale is told. In the cosmic dance where destinies unfold. In a fortress in the past where dark shadows fall, Discord finds a plot that threatens them all. Lord's found vision, a nightmare unseen. Booster and the Beatles will crush the villain schemes. In a blaze of heroics, Booster takes a stand. Destiny will change now, upsetting fate's plan. Booster gold, booster gold. Oh, we love now. Booster gold. Fading times past will be stories be told. Heroes triumph, that's booster gold.
Yeah, booster gold, booster gold. So you can tell, I mean, when I generated this thing, it went right into it at the beginning. Probably frightened you guys when I was playing it here. So generating the song, it kind of jumps right into the song, but then it takes about a minute and there's nothing but AI hallucination that's happening. Those words that are being said at the beginning of this song for about a minute are complete hallucinations by the AI from Suno. I don't know what they're saying. I mean, my brain can kind of make words out of what they're trying to say, but if you listen or watch the video or listen to what I played on the source material podcast when we covered the issues, that whole part was removed. It starts where the lyrics actually start to make sense. The song covers his origin a little bit. It also covers what happens in the story. But I remember when we first listened to this, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is good stuff. I mean, this one had me excited, and I'll never forget my son's reaction. My son Caleb, 14 years old, he comes downstairs and he's listening to me create this song, and he's like, wow. And then the next morning we listened to it, and I'm taking him over to the bus stop, and he was just amazed at the fact that artificial intelligence could create a song that sounds like that. The more I listen to it, the more, of course, critical I get. You can hear the artifacting that happens in it, and, you know, it's artificial intelligence. You can tell it's definitely version 2 of Suno now. It's like 5 months ago, it was like night and day, it seems like. It's crazy. So the hook for that, which was Booster Gold, oh, we love you, Booster Gold. When Evan and I were recording the episode, this is before I even started creating the song, I told him what the hook was that was going through my head. And I was like, I've got to put that in the song. And I was like, man, I really don't know how well that's going to sound. And it came off pretty well. I mean, it came off pretty good in my opinion. And it's something that gets stuck in your head. Oh, we love you. And then there's this point in the song where everything kind of cuts down, and then all of a sudden it just bang right back in your face with Booster Gold, Booster Gold. It's good stuff. It was good stuff. after reading the story, I can't remember what ChatGPT created for me, but this one was one where I went in there and played with the lyrics a good bit, kept probably about 75% of what ChatGPT gave me, aside from the stuff that I cut out. Regardless, at the very end, I had to have it say, "Let history prepare for the blue and gold." So I thought that would be the perfect ending. And of course, that's the way we end the song. And then we hit the da-da-da-da right at the end. Again, all Suno creation. It was great. So there you go. That's Booster Gold. Next up. Ooh, yeah. Okay, this is our third and final version 2, Suno version 2 song. This is called In the Shadows of Despair. Created January 19th, eight days later. I finished the song. I know I worked on it the night before, but this is a song that is centered around the Unspoken Issues episode that I did with Dean and Derry discussing claws. I think it's claws and webs. Mainly it's a Venom Wolverine story. And if you haven't listened to the episode, the story is Wolverine and Venom get pulled into the dreamscape, I think is what it's called. We had a big discussion about the dreamscape versus the astral plane and all this other stuff. I think it was the dreamscape. Anyway, there's a villain called Nightmare who's brought both of them into the dreamscape, and they are pitted against each other, I guess you would say. And Nightmare's just essentially wanting to mess with Wolverine's head. Wolverine finds that it's an opportune time to try and have Charles Xavier help him defeat Nightmare. But initially the song was called Claws and Webs, but that is not what the title ended up being. We went with In the Shadows of Despair, which I kind of kicked myself because I wish I would have had Nightmare somehow in the title, but well, it's all right. So when you listen to the song, as you listen to the lyrics, there's going to be some allusions to claws, webs, and nightmares. And it's about a guy who is trapped inside of his head. So it's not strictly following the story. This is about somebody who's kind of going through what Wolverine is sort of going through. He's battling the stuff in his head. I like it. I mean, I'll go ahead and we'll get to playing it, but genre is metal, dark, aggressive. That's what I put it as. So this is In the Shadows of Despair. And oh yes, I do know there is a Marvel character called D''Spare. I've seen that character in my Ohatmu. Ohatmu. All right, here we go.
In the darkness I am haunted by my fears drowning in the echoes of my tortured mind. Nightmares bind me tight. There's no way to escape. They claw at my sanity, devouring my soul. Trapped in the shadows, I can't break free. Tortured by nightmares, cursed
All right, there it is, In the Shadows of Despair. Yeah, you can tell that metal is one of Suno's weak points. Now that we're in version 3, things have definitely gotten better. However, it's still pretty tough sometimes to get a good sounding metal song out of Suno. Probably tell as the song goes on that the vocals get worse and worse and more marred down by all the other instrumentation that's going. So it's, again, this was a learning process. I'm in, what did we say? This was February 6th? No, sorry, January 19th. So I was like maybe a month into using Suno at this point. You can hear in the middle of the song, I shouldn't say in the middle, it's more towards the end, but I actually put into the lyrics, you can also tell Suno to do certain things with the song, such as guitar solo. So I had it do a guitar solo for one of the sections of the songs, or one of the sections of the song. And I can also remember, when I was creating this, Caleb went to basketball practice that night, and I sat in the car, and all I did was just create lyrics and work on lyrics. And this one was done by Suno's lyric generator. I can tell because a lot of the lyrics, there's extra stuff that's added to it. ChatGPT doesn't know how to do all that because Suno does this by, it understands some of the commands that it can do. So for example, when it says, they call it my sanity devouring my soul, there's in parentheses, ooh, and there's vocals that kind of follow that. There's a point where he says something about, I scream and shout, and then in the parentheses it says scream, and there's a loud scream. That's Suno right there doing that. The song ends on a dark note. There isn't a happy ending here, and that's something that I've done with a few of my songs, and I don't know if that was the original lyrics or if I did that myself, but yeah, at the very end, I struggle to flee this pain, strive with all my might. I surrender to the nightmares that haunt me each night. So, nice little dark ending here. Not so happy. All right, now we're going to get into another unspoken issues selection, where myself and Chris Armstrong got together and we covered Darkman. And I can't remember if I put this on the episode or not. I don't think I did. Yeah, in 1990, there were 3 issues that came out from Marvel based off of the movie Darkman. Took my notes and threw them into ChatGPT. Might have even went to Claude. I have no idea. But either way, I created a song sort of based off of the events that happen in Darkman. And this is the first version 3 song that I created that tied in with a comic. I had created other version 3 songs, but they're probably about food in some fashion. But February 26, 2024, here is Darkman.
Bleeding sun, the night's begun, your fight's begun, justice for everyone. In the lab, Peyton's quest, his mind is going, his rage will test, till the darkness claims the rest. Keep your senses sharp and your anger bright. Enter darkness and it seems losing fight. Take his hand to the shadows of the night. In the city's heart a cry, fold secrets and lies and shadows cold. Tyrant's greed, his plans untold. Julie hears love walks the line, with secrets buried yet to shine. Injustice stirs a twisted side. Keep your senses sharp and your anger bright. Enter darkness and it seems losing fight. Take his hand to the shadows of the night. bandits here roam, a silent guardian far from home. Dark man's here, you're not alone. In the darkened alleys here roam, silent guardian far from home. Dark man's here, you're not alone. In the darkened alleys here roam, a silent guardian far from home.
Yes. So, yeah, you can tell this is a big upgrade from what we were getting with version 2. Version 3, in the genre of hard rock, that was Dark Man. It was a song that was using my notes to create the lyrics. Much of what I think ChatGPT came up with was a song that kind of talked about the heroic Dark Man. Well, in the book, and if you've seen the movie, you can tell that, Peyton is not exactly your typical superhero. And after his accident, essentially a lab explodes. He has to go through some medical procedures, and his senses, especially like his pain receptors, are kind of gone. But that also feeds into like these adrenaline spikes and also a not so balanced mental state. And so you could tell through the song, it's kind of mentioning other characters. Julie is mentioned, which is his girlfriend. Durant is in there, which is the main enemy that he has a couple confrontations with. But at the end of the book, you kind of get this sense that he's going to be this kind of crazy vigilante that's out there just roaming the city. I kind of wish I would have changed it from a silent guardian far from home, because I don't think he goes anywhere. But either way, it's kind of meant to set you up like, Dark Man's out there. He could be out there, and he could be the savior of the city, but he could also be someone you don't want to run into in a darkened alley. So there you go. That's Dark Man. What's next? Well, we're going to go to March 5th. 2024, and you are going to get the full experience of the Source Material Comics podcast intro. It's not very long. I used sarcastic punk as the genre here, so it's pretty short. I think really the only drive behind me creating this was just because I wanted a new intro for the podcast. I didn't want to have to rely on other people's music. I can create my own now. So I said, hey, I think I threw this into Suno, and I had Suno create the lyrics for this. Just said, hey, I need an intro for my podcast. Here's what we talk about. It's comic books, blah, blah, blah. And then it gave us this. It gave us what I titled SM for Source Material. And you are going to get the full, my goodness, maybe minute and 30, maybe not even that. So here you go. SM in the style of sarcastic punk from March 5th of 2024.
Get ready to dive into the comic book realm, where heroes rise and villains take the helm. We're here to dissect the stories and the art. Our source material, we tear the panels apart. Welcome to the Source Material Show now. We don't hold back, we won't let you down. From Batman to Spider-Man, it's all fair game. We'll talk about the heroes of the villains and everything in between. Oh yeah.
42 seconds. My bad. Didn't even have time to make notes on that thing. Yeah, so you could tell I was just throwing that in, threw the prompt into Suno. That's what it came out, and it sounded great. It's kind of upbeat, punky. I think it's a great way to bring in the podcast. So I was like, I am definitely going to use that. Absolutely. Let's move on. Next up, second to last song we're going to be talking about tonight. This was created on April 12th, 2024. And I've tried a couple times to create a song about the Punisher, one of my favorite anti-heroes, the Punisher. So listen to this genre. This is hilarious. The song is titled The Punisher's Here. Genre is aggressive hard rock. Okay, sounds good. Militaristic vigilante style. That's one fun thing about Suno, is to throw in some crazy genres, and I've seen them, to see what Suno spits out. I saw one song that was called Cat, and the genre was cat in that song. was a banger. But here we go. This is The Punisher's Here. This is finally a song not really tied to any book specifically, but it is comic book related, and it's about the Punisher, and it's going right here, right now. Let's get into The Punisher's Here.
In the shadows of the city, a man makes his stand. A soldier turned avenger, blood-covered hands. He's a man on a mission, justice and rage. A skull on his chest, fury uncaged. From the ashes of tragedy, he emerged like a storm. A relentless force, a man who has sworn to hunt the vile and depraved. They don't belong, he's a demon of death. You've done wrong, Frank Castle, justice is his game. A lone wolf prowling, vengeance his name. When you see the skull, you know you better run. The Punisher's here and he's brought his gun. Brought his gun. Kinda hard being human, see marvels every day. Demigods, supervillains, they may all have to pay. It'll be an uphill battle, a very bloody one too. Don't you dare count him out, Frank will make it through. Now you know that Kingpin in his tower downtown. Well, Frank's been watching, planning to take him down. But his first mission is cleaning up these streets. The fat man will die the day that these two will meet. Frank Castle, justice is his game. A lone wolf prowling, vengeance his name. When you see the skull, you know you better run. The Punisher's here and he's brought his gun. Brought his gun. Name kids, remember that crime doesn't pay. Keep your nose clean, stay in the right lane. If you start doing wrong, this I guarantee. A bright flash and a white skull will be the last thing you see. Bright flash and a white skull will be the last thing you see. When you see the skull, you know you better run. The Punisher's here and he's brought his gun.
Kind of hard being human, seeing marvels every day. Now, I am biased. I like The Punisher, but I will tell you that that is probably my favorite song out of all of these that I have created so far. The creative process on this song was pretty fun because what had happened is I'm pretty certain I started with Suno. And I said, okay, here's what I want. Song about the Punisher, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so standard fare at the beginning. In the shadows of the city, a man makes his stand. This is all stuff that you could probably see anytime you throw a bunch of superhero junk into ChatGPT and say, create a song. It'll probably start out most songs just like that. When I got a feeling of the song, though, and its cadence, its rhythm, that's when I started to be like, okay, I got it from here. We've got an introduction. Then I kind of took the reins a little bit. Verse 2, I think this is from either Suno or ChatGPT. From the ashes of tragedy, he emerged like a storm. That's good stuff. It's like, man, this is actually pretty good. Verse 3 was all me. Kind of hard being human, seeing marvels every day. Verse 4 was all me, a reference to the Kingpin and what he was doing. and the fat man will die. That is something I straight up ripped off from Dean Compton. He's been an inspiration for a few of my songs, actually. But the fat man will have his day. I enjoy this song that much more because I created a lot of this. So good. And my thoughts were, after listening to this, that this was the intro to the non-existent 90s PG-13 Punisher cartoon. I would have loved to have heard this. When you see the skull, you know you better run. The Punisher's here and he's brought his gun. It's good stuff. And all right, we've reached the end here. We are getting ready to get into the final song. The idea for this song was inspired by, it's me, Dean, and Derry discussing Killer Instinct, not the video game, but the crossover between Cyberforce and Wildcats. And there was a discussion on the chat. It's funny that, again, I take inspiration for these songs from some of the goofiest stuff, but there was a discussion on the chat about the Wildcats TV series intro. So there was a cartoon series back in the 90s, of course. So I took a chance, and I was like, I wonder if I can make it better with AI. Now, here's the thing. With Suno, if you put in copyrighted lyrics, usually it's going to get flagged. Although I've seen some exceptions. Somebody did a Nirvana song and threw all the lyrics in there, and it was essentially an AI cover done in a bit of a different genre, and it sounded great. But I was really surprised that Suno did not flag it, because there was not much difference at all. So I took the lyrics to the Wildcats cartoon intro, and on April 19th, 2024, this was 10 days ago, I created Wildcats, a funk-infused hard rock rendition of the Wildcats cartoon intro. Here we go.
Wildcats, 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 walk good against evil. Wildcats, 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 evil. Wildcats, 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 we've got invincible power. Wildcats, 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 yeah!
Nerves of Steel, here's the deal. Oh, man. That one. Yeah, you could tell at the beginning there's a bit of hallucination with the word evil. Like it's throwing it in there after it's saying Wildcats for some reason. I don't know why. Either way, I was like, okay, I'll stick with it. And the lyrics to this obviously extremely low effort on my part. I grabbed the lyrics from, threw them into Suno, and here you go. Wildcats. I was kind of worried because it took a couple generations to get this thing to sound good. I mean, you got to think, when you listen to the 90s song, oh, it's completely different from what you're hearing here as far as the genre goes. So I wanted something kind of funky that felt so different and separate from what you usually hear. And I think I pulled it off. Here's the deal. All right, we have completed the journey. The journey that we set out on here, and we absolutely covered all 7 AI created comic book related songs. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. There will probably be another one here in a few months, I'm sure. I'd love to do more songs, and as Suno gets better, there's now a competitor to Suno called Udio. You never know what you're going to get there because it sounds really, really good. So as these two compete, I'm sure that they are going to be boosting up the efforts to make their products stand out. I also really enjoy other people's creations, and there have been some great AI creations that are out there. I've contributed to making some of those songs public. Actually, every one of them except for my intro song is public. People can listen to. So, all right. With that being said, I've got one more song to play for you, and that was inspired by Mark Radulich. I was told one day that I needed to sing my plugs. So, without further ado, here's my plugs, and we're out of here.
Plugs. You wanna hear my plugs? Plugs, plugs. Here comes my plugs. I was told I needed to sing my plugs, so now I'm gonna sing my plugs. You wanna hear my plugs? I'm gonna sing my plugs. I host a comic book podcast, the source material podcast. We talk comic stories on every show. You know you wanna listen. You can't say no. You wanna hear my plugs? Plugs, plugs, here comes my plug. What about comics from that extreme era? 90s comics pushing limits, yeah, we hear ya. Unspoken issues, it's got ya covered. So many stories went undiscovered. It's that material, can't forget that. Mobile game, come Marvel Snap. Got you covered for previews and stats. Snap material that